entering in and diving into the situation you had in laid in waste. The individuals around you, the people that stand beside you, are the last remaining people that you can see, that you can sense for some of you. Looking around, you do see that the enemy is now gone, possibly forever, as the world itself is decaying away. Your teammates, your friends, your allies, or whatever you consider each other, now stand in front of you at the same plateau that you stand on. With the world slowly dying away, perhaps Spin, the enemy that you had vanquished, managed to have his plan set in motion, his complete plan. Or maybe you stopped him before that plan grew into fruition. Right now, you currently believe you are the only ones still around, but that might not be the case. You can feel the world's magic slowly fading and decaying away, while the strings tying this world to the others slowly begin to be plucked, loose, and cut. This is where you stand, and this might be where you take your last stand. Let's begin.
Oh, well, that's good. Good thing about using this computer. I can hear the sound better.
Well, that's the thing.
Okay, so can I reach into the pool of knowledge?
Do you try?
Yes.
You can tell it is slowly fading and weakening away. You might have one go at it.
That's our Arcana check, right?
Yeah, depending on what you try to do.
I'm trying to figure out if there are any magical solutions, especially that dysfunction, that will get rid of this.
Remembering beforehand, you'd know that something or things tied to this are very limited in scope, so that is very extremely near lost knowledge, but you can go ahead and roll.
I'm going to enhance myself for this. Does anyone have a portent that they want to use for this?
Nope, all mine are gone.
Is it bardic knowledge?
You mean inspiration?
Yes.
I mean, it's a bonus action to use it. It's not, well. Guess that doesn't matter, does it? I have one left. I guess I'm not going to need cutting words. Sure, yeah.
Okay, so...
Watch, cutting words save the world.
It's D12, by the way.
Did it roll?
Not yet.
Okay. Wait, hang on. So that's a 32 plus D12. So 35, and I'm going to make it a 40 with my last flash of genius.
All right, it'll give you the best, most possible way to fix this. Not every way, but the best one. Linking in and chaining into the history of the world, you begin to see that it dives deep, very deep into the historical context. Bridge after bridge of connections and memory being passed down. You see after you pass each individual memory, going back in time with your own thought pattern. You can see as you pass them, each one begins to shatter and break, likely indicating that the pool of knowledge is slowly fading away. Well, dramatically rather than slowly fading away. But you do reach the end point. At the end point, you see what Shade had saw once long ago, of a man standing at not a tower, but a large hillside, with a large blade, likely a spear in hand, casting something asunder. You can tell that the shape and model is similar to what Shade currently carries, at least the hilt is. The blade is a lot longer. You can see them casting out phrases, words, and a wish. As soon as that happens, you see the world begin to change and decay away. No. Slowly you see that the decay that happened once before is itself moving away. The world itself begins to turn once more, and the animals and creatures begin to rise up once more. You can tell that it went back to a state in time where these events had yet to come to fruition. You can tell that things basically rewinded themselves to a point where it no longer needed to be this way. However, at the cost of their own life, The individual died and was never able to be brought back. The individuals around them had no idea what had happened except for one individual, one orc that stood beside them, keeping track of what they do and what they follow and telling their story of what may happen, but keeping it a secret in case someone were to change the world again. And then you're back in this moment.
I relay that. So does anyone know who that orc was?
It is long lost history, but it vaguely resembles the man that you had just defeated.
Oh, that's not good.
So wish seems to be the only thing we have.
It's the best option that you have. It's not the only thing you have. Like out of game, in game.
Was I able to tell why he was able to remember and no one else did?
Tracing back, he's the only one that survived. More than likely, the wish spell had a contingency plan that the caster set in motion, allowing to make sure someone was able to do something if something got screwed up again.
I have a question.
Yes.
I would also like to use the pool of knowledge if I have to. I have access to the Rod of the Phoenix, which I'm attuned to, and the knowledge I have from my Smith teacher, who's been teaching me. I'm not sure exactly what the team calls it, but her ability to take powers and whatnot and create other things. I'll just leave it at that. I was wondering if it's possible to utilize the rest of my marbles, the Rod of the Phoenix, and that knowledge, and combine it in some form to deal with the black stuff and its consequences. And if I need to, use the pool of knowledge to help give me greater ability.
What does the Rod of the Phoenix do?
You are not here for that.
I know I'm asking out of character. What is it? I've never heard of it.
Homebrewed item.
It is an item the DM gave that we found, and I am currently the one who has it and attuned to it. It allows me to do Fairy Fire, plus
Is it some Revivify or something?
plus a
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Might take time, Calmore. Like, if you believe that time is what you have, you would need to roll like 2 good Arcana checks. One now, wait some time for other people to do stuff, and then one after.
Can I give him assist? Can I help on this? Give him advantage?
I suppose.
Should I be rolling for the pool of knowledge?
Yeah, since you're trying to make something specifically to counteract this. Arcana.
25.
Okay, there's really no way of giving you advantage to this, unless you have like some class feature.
Ian said that she was helping me.
Unless you have some sort of class feature.
And the only other thing I have would be the Bardic Inspiration I haven't used. Lasts for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's been like 8. That being said, though, are you making this for the first Arcana check to make the item, or to dive into the pool?
Cool.
There's a +3 I can give you.
Okay, that's 15.
Cool.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to give you what 15 gives you.
I don't really have anything else.
Okay.
But you have your inspiration.
I guess I'll use the Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
Didn't help much, but I'll take it.
It's a 19. It's a good number. Diving into the pool, you can tell that a large portion of the pool itself has been corroded and broken away. Looking at it, you can tell that there's a strange segment of it. Diving deeper into the pools, you then see more and more of them beginning to decay away. More than likely, no one else is able to go into this zone anymore. At least not coming back out alive, at the very least. Maybe this too is untwining from your world's connection. But before that happens, you dive deep and you see a strange sight. A more, let's call it, a portal that was constructed into a different zone. Not a zone outside of your own world, but a zone that is locked from most things. If you had to wager, this is a cache of some sort to make sure that this could be cleaned up in one way, shape, or form. But after it took effect, looking at it, you can tell that it might be in the location of where that ooze came from. You would need to construct something to perhaps speed it along, as the system itself has been locked in. So someone likely was trying to make sure that they had a plan ahead. Maybe Spin, maybe a third party, maybe Spin. But your team never really figured that one out. With the pool of knowledge, you determined that one of Spin's men's, because you rolled pretty well, his lieutenant before you guys killed him and stole his sword. I think Bartholomew has it. I'm not quite sure. Activated something to bring the ooze out of its cache storage. More than likely, this is how they were going to clean up the world after everything was coded and taken care of. Bringing yourself back, you might be able to construct something to bring out more ooze, but it's probably going to take a long, term mechanics wise, a long rest slash invention time.
With that knowledge I've gained, do I think the few of the swords of virtue might be able to help us in combating this black ooze?
The ones you have, it's honestly, with the information you gathered, you have no idea.
Can I stab my blade of sin into the black ooze and see what happens?
You see the blade beginning to change color where it caught.
Change color how?
Kind of like when steel, or not steel, when copper is placed in the sun for far too long and it changes hues, like it turns green.
I pull it out.
Okay. Just a small fragment piece of it is weathered, but not broken.
Alright, I tried, but I can't. The only thing I got, it's not really going to work. We don't have enough time. Everything is dying, and I don't even know if we have an hour to do anything. I think the only thing we have is the wish.
At this point, you do all take 9 points of damage. The miasma.
I'm floating.
I was about to describe that. The miasma is in the air, just not as thick as the ground. So you only take half of 9. I'm going to round it up to 5. This thing is coating the world. Well, maybe not physically as well, but also with gas.
Do you have that rope trick thing that lets you create a portal up into the air?
Me? No. I'm not hearing any music, by the way. I don't know about.
Oh,
you
maybe
guys.
it's too low?
I have.
I can hear it. Your
Really?
roll 27 might just be too low.
It says it's not playing on my thing. Hold on, I'll refresh.
Well, I just had my volume up really loud so I can hear it.
Well, I put it really low so it doesn't blast your ears, because Roll20 systems, not the best.
Well, this is playing on my surround sound, so...
I mean, it's still not the best.
Stupid. I hate this thing sometimes.
I turn towards Shade and I'll hand him over my Blade of Sin. Here you go, ma'am. I can't think of anything else. But I don't think we'll last an hour taking this damage.
It's been
We
2
have-
There
minutes.
we go.
Do we have a means of flying or creating some kind of platform or something that we can be enclosed in so the stuff doesn't get to us?
Being in the air will reduce the damage pool down, but do you have anything? I know that Lion's character doesn't. Star doesn't. The rest of you, it's up in the air.
Do we have a means of teleportation on this plane?
Star does state, I can bring one person with me, but that's about it. You want to fight for it?
Look, I.
You know what? I do have rope check.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Because
Doesn't matter
that
if it's a spell
creates.
list.
It does create a extra dimensional pocket space that lasts for an hour.
Well, that'll at least take care of the damage for an hour.
Which is how long I need to complete the ritual to combine all the shards of sin if everybody gives theirs up.
Is it?
Wasn't
Oh
it
no,
an
it was an
hour
hour per blade. Yeah.
It's
How many times can you cast rope trick?
no, wait a minute. If we're using all the blades at one time, I asked this question beforehand, and the DM said it would just be 1 hour as all the blades are being used at the same time.
I don't remember that.
I asked you before we had our long rest, before we fought Spin. You said that it would only be multiple hours if, due to our lacking of diamonds, you said it would only be multiple hours if we do it at one per time.
No, I think it was
No.
going to take the whole time, and if we did it, I was going to have to go with that long rest.
I mean, I might have said something similar, but I don't remember that at all. I'm sure I said something to that line, but it was not about this.
So we don't have enough diamonds then.
You do.
Oh, we only need 1 diamond, and I've got it. It's just the number of hours per sword. So, Star, where can you teleport someone?
Well, it's limited, but I can go to either Valhalla, the Abyss, or the Shadowfell.
And can you come back here afterwards?
Honestly, it's 50-50. I have enough magic to go there and back, but based on what Spin said, I might not be able to get back, as I need a connection, and the world's kind of severing itself off.
Does it look like this thing goes through windows, or can something enclosure be used to keep the other stuff out?
I mean, maybe magic for a while could be able to keep it out, hence the rope trick thing. But like a normal cabin in the woods, probably not.
What about Lillian's tower?
Again, a magic for a while, but it'll still eat into it and then disperse it.
So I
Then
need
s-
4 hours.
Then I suggest we use that and then the rope trick to buy us as much time as we can.
That being said,
Can you cast rope check more than once?
We really don't have a lot of time. So how many times can you do rope trick?
Enough.
Then let's start.
all right. Don't know what enough means, but
Well-
okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm
No,
assuming-
5 times.
I'm assuming rope
5
trick
times.
isn't an expensive spell.
It's a second level.
Oh,
You
yeah,
go
yeah,
five-
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just meant to give us safe space to take short rests. So,
Well, that makes sense.
so yeah, as long as you just kept recasting it, so it didn't end. Hypothetically, I could perform the ritual in the extra dimensional space because it's supposed to be big enough for everybody to like go and sleep in. As long as everybody's willing to give up their shards of sin.
I will.
All right.
Oh,
stab her?
Yeah.
I assume Lan as well.
Bartholomew, I don't think you actually ever had one.
Yeah. That's why I'm okay with it.
Yep. Yep.
I assume.
Well,
I've already
we'll
got
get there.
3. I've already got 3.
Lan gives it to you. He prefers living
Mm-hmm.
over a sweet weapon.
And then Kelmore had 1, and I think Lillian has 2.
Yeah, Lane has to. She'll give them to you. She doesn't live on the material plane, but there's a lot of people dying.
Oh, so your grandpa's kind of the god of some of these people that are dead or
Yeah.
alive, depending. You don't really know. Okay. After a time in casting Road Trip, you manage to get into a safe zone. As you enter that safe zone, you can tell that the world around you is slowly morphing and changing once more. After a good amount of time in Shade trying to performing this ritual at the best of his ability, you can tell that time passes and the miasma outside begins to grow stronger and fiercer. You can tell after a while that more than likely a good portion of, more than likely far beyond than you can see, is now coated with this miasma, and the current point you're at is a lot more deadly than it was beforehand, but you're still fine, you're still okay. After the first hour hits, you immediately cast it, or do you wait and see? No, not you, Shade. Lillian, do you cast Rope Trick again?
Yes.
Alright. As his first one hits, a small portion of the miasma enters inside and you quickly create the dimension once more. You can tell that with that just small fragment of fumes, you would have taken probably 2 more hit dice.
Can I cast Rope Trick while inside the Rope Trick?
What are you trying to do?
So we don't have to open the door to the miasma?
You can just time it perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they make a roll for that?
Nah, I just let you do it. I mean, you have enough spells. I just needed to know if you were going to test, like, seeing how the world's doing. If you're not, that's fine. It just means watch out for the end product. Being brought back, Shade manages to finish the spell secondary storage system. Basically, the next blade has been connected. I just couldn't phrase it properly the first time. You move on to the next blade, and the same pattern repeats. The world itself gets stronger and a lot more deadly, and then spreads out further. And the deadliness then spread out even further than that. After a point in time, it happens again, and you do it again. And the last time, you do it again, and again. After the final point, you get a blade about the size of one's own body. The areas around you is a rancid color, a very distinctive smell. Before you can even actually smell it, you know it's deadly outside. You know you'll be taking damage as soon as you exit. But if you decide to cast the wish spell now, all you'll be affecting is the dimension you're inside, which wouldn't help you. That being said, I'm going to give you time. I'm going to step away for a few seconds because I have to do something. To see what... I'm going to say, like, in the dimension, you have, like, 10 minutes before the Rip Trick disperses. In that time, figure out what you intend to do. I'll be right back.
DM,
Wait, go ahead.
That's not entirely necessary. We can leave the rope trick whenever we want. Shade can just go by himself outside with the broom and just fly above it and just make his wish. We don't have to
Everything's
leave.
deadly. Everything's deadly.
Everything's deadly. Again, I do also need to step away.
Are you saying that, like, orbit is dead? The orbit of the planet is deadly?
Your environment itself is a basic trap. There's no escaping it once you exit the rope trick.
The world outside is death. Okay.
Yeah.
You just
Shade
have
alone.
no idea how long your body can last that.
Yeah. So, like, at this point, guys, Shade's assuming that he's going to have time to say one sentence. So,
Yeah. Again, Be right back. Discuss it amongst
Yep.
yourselves.
Sounds good.
What you do is you write it on a piece of paper and you say, I wish this piece of paper comes true. It's on this piece of, that's how you do it. You
That's
write
how you
all
do it.
that
Just wish
thing,
for a ham sandwich. or
what I've
something.
written down on this piece of paper comes to pass.
Yeah. I think that might be pushing my luck. So
What do you want to wish, Shade?
I'm thinking, based on what's happened, I'm thinking that what happened last time, based on the visions that we've witnessed, is that all of this has happened before. And when the original wish was cast, time was reversed, basically. Like the cycle was reset. And this conflict happened all over again. But this time with slight changes, because this time Spin, who was amongst those who like potentially was with the group that saved the world last time, actually did it himself this time. Maybe went crazy and decided this is the only way or something weird like that. So I'm wondering if that's like, at this point, this is our only chance, like, to basically reset the clock.
We try fusing the virtues into the shard of sin.
We don't know how. The ritual that I have only allows the sins to be put together. So I was thinking something along the lines of like, I wish to undo the damage done to the world and ensure that
What are the name of the bad guys?
life is
again?
given a fighting chance.
What are the name of the bad guys again?
Spin?
No, the god things.
Like the old ones?
Yes.
Yeah. So, out of character, like, this whole time I've been, like, because Shade has basically been walking around with envy, gluttony, and greed. What is it? Envy, gluttony, and greed speaking into his head. Was straight up thinking of wishing to strip all life and power from the Ancient Ones and subsume it himself. But I don't think that would work in this instance. I think that,
I had an idea along those lines.
yeah.
They didn't create the world, right? The Ancient Ones?
No, I don't believe so.
Then wish they never existed.
But will that fix the world?
Well, hopefully, if they never existed, Spin would never. The first event and the second event never would have happened because they wouldn't have a reason to.
Didn't they create a lot of the mortal races, though?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know this will work with the setting that well.
I think the old ones have only affected the snake races. The human ones know, the Fae and Elf know. I don't think the dwarves. I'm not sure about them. But also, Shade, before you go out, I'd like to ask for the Blade of Virtue, because if you're going to rewind time again, then we would need a fighting chance. So, could I have one of the Blades of Virtue?
I'll probably be dropping both of them on the ground.
don't
Like,
have a
with
blade
you guys
anymore.
before I leave. Okay, so I like this idea. So, oh, 1 second, sorry, my cat's trapped in the room with me and he's dying.
Yeah, but we just need to figure out what they contribute to the world and then decide if that's worth just eliminating completely.
Alright, then DM, what do we know about the backdrop
He's not here.
of the world?
I'm back.
What
Oh.
does the old ones
What is what?
contribution? What are the old ones' contribution to the mortal races?
The old one's contribution to the races was the very foundation of the races themselves. In fact, the proto races, where you came from, were designed in order to combat them. Basically, if they weren't there, you wouldn't be either.
Damn.
I think I mentioned this like a couple times.
Not really.
Yeah, I thought he had. That's why I wasn't sure.
So I guess that's a no then.
Not
And I
unless
think
you
that's the
wanna-
problem. Yeah.
Like
Not
maybe I
unless you
phrased
wanna
it
do-
differently, but if I phrase it differently, then a few races wouldn't be there afterwards, like the not celestials. Well, yeah, any celestial creatures, Aasimar, tieflings, any demonic creatures in your realm would be wiped out.
I thought
That's
the
nice.
Celestials were made because to fight against the demons.
Yes. But this. Oh wait, you're talking about that. Well, I suppose only some of the races.
And the humans, they came from 2 different ways. So the humans wouldn't be completely wiped.
Well, a good chunk of the population would be gone.
Yeah, no, we were wiping out too much, and we just get rid of the elder.
So it's up to you, Shade. I don't mind you restarting everything and having us have another chance at this.
Let me think here. I wish to undo the damage done to the world and ensure.
Can we just, if we're not doing that, can we just roll time back for us?
Ensure that the DM, sorry, I've just been calling them like the elder beings. Is that like the phrasing that they've been given in the game?
The Elder Beings, the old ones, I've used multiple iterations of the term.
Okay. I wish to undo the damage done to the world and ensure that the old ones,
Or
the old ones.
could we wish that this effect that Spen did targeted the old ones and not the gods?
This effect targets our world.
I know. Could we redirect the effect to target them?
Potentially.
Would that undo the damage?
Depending on how you phrase it, it could just, after it's done this, go immediately after the old ones, and then it still persists after they die. If they die. They probably will die.
Or you could say, I wish for this effect to have only ever affected the old ones.
Okay, I got an idea here. I wish to undo the damage done to the world and ensure that the old ones slumber eternally and never wake.
And they have no followers. And people forget they existed or some shit.
I
Don't
mean, how
forget to
much
type
can
this
you
out.
add to one wish?
Is that what you want to say, Shade? What you just last spoke?
Maybe. I'm just. Probably something close to this. And
Don't forget,
can
group. Shade gets the last say.
never wake. Yeah, I'm thinking, I wish to undo the damage done to the world and ensure that the old ones slumber eternally and can never wake.
Well, you need to add in the just because that's what caused the problem.
Well, I was thinking, like, hypothetically, if they can never wake, like, it doesn't matter if people are worshipping them.
Well, it doesn't mean people won't try to wake them up.
They can never wake, which means
Yeah,
that
I know,
when
but there's
are
people
woken,
won't try anyway.
it won't do anything.
And it won't matter because they can't wake them up.
But it's Shade. Shade makes the choice. He is the wish.
Sure.
I mean, unless any of you want to try to survive.
Shade, it's up to you, man. Are you frozen? Because your thingy
Nope.
is on.
No, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm not. That's just me breathing in the mic. Yeah, I think I'm good.
So say your wish one last time so the DM knows.
Preferably over text,
Yeah, I'll type it into Roll20.
because I need exact wording for this.
Go right ahead, Shade. You're the man with
Just,
the wish.
just real quick before you do that, was it the plan, Stan's plan, to then kill the elder ones anyway?
After, yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't require them to wake up, does it? For them to kill them?
I don't know.
Probably be a lot easier to kill them if they're asleep. Okay, so I'm gonna type it out here.
you don't have anyone preventing them from stealing their power or something too.
It would be like
Um,
Mistral all over again.
Yeah, I don't want to unmake the world. That's the thing. My family was supposed to protect the world.
That's not what I meant. I meant, like, you know how if you kill God, you get their power?
Won't work like that, I don't think.
I mean, so you can find out.
Oh, yeah, that makes me nervous.
I'm
Having
sure it's
Neverwinter
fine.
Nights 2 and Mistra tells me no.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say.
I wish to undo the damage done to the world and ensure the old ones slumber eternally and can never wake.
Well, can you be more specific on damage? Because that's a lot of leeway for him.
So,
I will allow you a secondary connection. It'll be a long sentence, but with any luck, none of us are English teachers.
I'd say effect over damage.
what kind of effect though? Like,
All effects.
You gotta specify the damage though, because like a meteor hitting the Earth would count as damage.
Or who did the damage?
right. I wish to undo the damage done to the. All right, 1 second here. Done to the world by spins actions.
Don't forget, Shade, you're the final say in the wish.
Yep.
Don't let us push you. It's you and you alone.
So like that.
I wish to undo the damage done to the world by Spin's actions and ensure the old ones slumber eternally and can never wake.
So that specifies, because it was Spin that started this, and
Wouldn't the one who did it the first time be the one that started this?
I don't know who did that.
I
And
mean-
as far as we know, like, it's basically the same thing that's going to happen again, right?
Potentially. You could try to phrase it to stop the originator, but you have no idea how that'll overlap into your existing world. Maybe
Right,
everything's
I'm
fine.
not-
Maybe Lan actually rules the kingdom he's meant to. Maybe Shade is in the Feywild as a Fey Lord. Maybe Kelmore actually has a family. Maybe Lillian, you became celestial goddess or crowned queen. I kind of forget what the halfling thing is. And Bartholomew, you're there.
He's a gnome, not a halfling.
Sorry.
It's
Um,
up to you, Shade. I won't say anything else about your wish. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Because I'm not really concerned about the original time that this happened or the last time that this happened. I'm concerned with this time that it happened.
I have a suggestion. Add something that we can't be corrupted to do what Sten did.
So the reason I'm not super worried about that is because it's the conflict between the old ones and the gods that drives all of this, right? And
Mhm.
if the old ones slumber eternally and can never wake, there is no conflict. Because right now it's their active influence, like recruiting people, building an army, extending their power into the mortal races, and aligning them against the gods that's causing the conflict where Spin is actually like,
I think
okay,
that
we need to
makes
get
sense.
ourselves out of this. So, what I'm gonna do is Shade is actually going to hand out. He's actually going to leave the two shards, the two blades of virtue that he has, Golden's blade, and with quite some, reticence, he's going to hand over his +1 short sword from his mentor to Kelmore.
Can I have Golden's Blade?
Yeah.
What does that do? Or are we not? Is that not going to matter?
Oh, I don't even know. All I know is it is hypothetically a blade of virtue.
DM, is that going to matter?
I can't say one way or the other, but
I mean,
systematically, it is a blade of, a blade of virtue. It is an item of virtue. It does have a +2 modifier to it. It does do 3d6, but not Lillian. Shade wasn't able to modify his connection due to his earlier modification. With that in tow, technically you can't either, but I'm just going to give you the stats for the weapon. It can do 3d6 slashing damage with the potential to crit and do smiting damage, so long as your alignment is good.
You
It
said
has
3D6?
the ability 3d6. It has the ability to awaken, but it's currently not awake, and maybe you don't have the time to awaken it. Okay. So that's your wording, Shade.
Yes. So the only other thing that I would ask for before hopping out of here, uttering my wish, is if somebody could help bring me up to full health.
I have
How
some
much health do you
potions.
need?
I need. I'm at 92, and my max is 108. I just would really like to be triple digits before I jump down.
Okay, real quick, how many times did I cast the spell?
Which
Can't be
spell?
affected by spells.
The, rope trick.
4 times, right?
4.
Yeah, because I had to add 4 blades.
Yeah. Star comes over. I have like 2 health potions.
I got it.
He cannot be
Oh, well,
affected
never
by
mind.
spells.
You cure
Yeah, you
wounds
okay?
on Shade, and as you begin to get close to him, the magic begins to fizzle out and pop. Nothing happens.
Right.
I
Okay.
bring out a.
Does lay on
The
hand
lowest
work on him?
You can try it.
I would,
I'll try lay
wouldn't
on
touch
hand.
me.
What? Don't touch you?
To your own. Okay. It's just because the only other healing that I have is my poisons of healing, the throne variety, but I don't know if I can take that.
I believe the DM has already stated that you can take the lesser potions of healing because they're more medicinal, not magical.
I think so. Yes.
So I'll give you.
Yes, this is true.
I give you the 4 lesser potion of healings that I have. I believe these 4 should top you up.
They're each 2d4 plus 2.
Correct.
Wait, he can use lesser potions of healing.
They are medicinal and not magical,
Mhm.
as the DM stated earlier.
All
like-
natural.
So were the ones I crafted the same medicinal?
Potentially.
Holy shit.
I
But
have 2.
I think Shade's already covered.
Okay, because I had greater ones.
Greater would not work. They're magical.
I mean, they might help Bartholomew.
So Shade will pull down his face covering, and smile and say, "It's been fun, and all I ask is that if any of you can, just check on my sister once in a while."
I will check up on her, Shade. and thank you for traveling with us.
Mm.
May you find your peace on the other side.
It's a pleasure knowing you, Shade. For the short time that I knew you.
Thank you. You too.
Lan nods. Star then states, "Well, you were the second I least hated."
High praise.
It really is, sadly.
All right then. Shade will.
The spell does have to go down.
Hmm?
The rope trick has to go down before you can activate that, or else it'll activate in the dimension that you're in.
Yeah,
He could
so
just
I was thinking
through.
I'd jump out.
Okay.
Because rope trick puts you up in the air basically.
Mhm.
So I guess Shade will grip firmly onto the thing and hop down, and as soon as he's clear of the extra dimensional space, begin attempting to cast Wish.
All right. Before you do that, Bartholomew, are you good? You keep you keep popping up here and there.
Oh, on Discord?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's weird. I think it's just my fan being picked up very lightly, just enough for it to light up.
Oh,
Shade,
okay.
did you borrow
I
my
thought you were
broom
trying to
for
speak.
this? Did you need
No, I'm
to
not
borrow
trying to speak.
my broom of flying
That
for
will
this?
actually raise sensitivity a bit, or lower the sensitivity a bit.
Shade, do you need my broom of flying?
I wouldn't say no.
I'll give you my broom of flying.
Thank you.
All right.
So I guess I fly out.
With the road trip still intact, trying to keep your individual selves protected, Shade, with broom in hand, flies out. Terrible turn of phrase, but think hoverboard in Back to the Future too.
Nice.
Jettisoning out, you do have a massive spear in hand and in hand. It is a two-handed weapon. There's like no excuse otherwise. And with a wish prepared, what do you say?
I wish to undo the damage done to the world by Spin's actions and ensure the old ones slumber eternally and can never wake.
All right. As you begin
I
to
die.
as you begin to cast a spell, begin to look around you, begin to try to delve into the minds, into the very depths of what this weapon used to hold dear, used to be held for. You look around you and you see the blade shine and burn into your retina. However, it is also burning into the world, and soon enough it will engulf your companions. Maybe friends. Maybe. The world begins to move away and part ways. The very flesh underneath your cells begin to re-envelop itself as if it's coming back to a point, redevelops itself into that fissure point where this all started. Shade, you're still there, but the very form around you, much like the very edges in your skin that once formed there, the very former tattoos you once held and then disappeared for a while, re-emerge and begins to form cracks around your body. However, the world is slowly becoming what it once was beforehand. When you had people around you, you could see that the world was verdant at one point or another, and it begins to turn that way again. But it is a process that you thought would take more time, or maybe you thought it'd be in an instant. But as time progresses, the spell is beginning to take longer than you thought, and the rope trick is slowly fading away. Is there anything the people inside are going to do before it does? You can do nothing, or you can do something.
Like, what do you mean by something?
The spell is going to disperse. Do you cast a new one, or do you just let it go?
I can't cast another one since I used the healing spell.
Okay.
Pray?
As the point in time begins to shift, you see the world resetting itself. Now with a verdant color once more, you can see more and more cracks form on Shade's body as the spell disperses. The dimension hits and you hit the ground. Not hard, not enough to do damage, but you do then begin to be brought back into this world. You see the world itself changing, coming back to what it once was beforehand. But then you see the individual that you buried coming back from the dead and then going back with the ritual. Everything going back to a point before this. Everything going back to a point before any of this. And then you see just about everyone beginning to slowly shine once more. Not with eminent power, not with demonic heritage, but Lillian, Kelmore, Star, Lan, Bartholomew all begin to glow, and you can see that their own points in time also are beginning to revert back. Because the spell that which you cast was to undo the damage that Spin has done. And in most of your lives, he has affected you at one point or another. And it is going to go back to before that happened.
If that happened to Lillian,
At one point or another, you got involved in this tale. You'll be brought back to that point before any of your involvement happened. But you were involved.
I'm fine. Continue.
Is there anything you try to do as you begin to glow and feel yourselves being pulled into time?
trying to roll an Arcana check to keep my memories.
That is not going to help you.
I don't even know if that's even possible, but okay.
You can roll Arcana to keep the memories at this point in time, but as soon as you go back to the point where you first met these people,
Happened, so
it
you
would have
wouldn't
never
memories
happened.
to keep.
So I would lose the memories regardless. I wouldn't remember Shade's sacrifice.
You wouldn't remember any of these
You
people.
should.
Is there a way I can remember Shade's sacrifice?
Maybe, but not through a memory, but through a feeling. But that would be
That-
at the start of, well, before you met these individuals.
Okay.
Time begins to move, and slowly enough, Shade, you see your group slowly, one by one, not depicted, fading away to a point before this mess started. Kelmore, you wind up back with your family. Wind up back where you were a child, a small child being trained by your mother and father, with your sisters in tow being trained as well. You never had an adept for magic, but you always had a finesse for it, and, well, weapons helped. They definitely helped. Beforehand, you were betrayed by an individual that got corrupted, but that was due through the influence of another. With that influence gone, you were able to just live your life. The betrayal, the anger, the frustration you felt, all wipes away. Lan himself goes back in time before any of the events happened where he was exiled, to a point in time where his family was whole again. His father, his mother, and his brother all back at one point or another. But this time, a man did not persuade his brother to get him kicked out, to take over the throne and to rule with an iron fist. He did not have to sacrifice anyone. He led his men and he charged straight into the battlefield, straight into a fight, and won continuously. He did lose from time to time, but regardless of the events that happened beforehand, he was always a prideful man. With no sin, however, all he was a very powerful, prideful man. Bartholomew, you still never gave me a backstory, man.
Yeah, I just drew him in. I probably should have just kept Angus the whole time. I'm stupid.
No,
Sorry.
I got you unless you want me to include something.
You can include something if you want.
Okay. Bartholomew, winding back the clock, you find yourself in Well, you find yourself before you met these individual people. Back in the jail cell where you first encountered these people, you found a strange individual here and there. So you get arrested from time to time, and the people inside that city, well, they find your comical gestures amusing. After a while, you do find yourself with a very nice, tall, furry man and his companion that they have been traveling for some time. And basically, a man now coated in steel and fur, and a small young woman being carried almost piggyback style. You meet up with these people, you enjoy their company, and after a while, you begin to adventure with them. After a while, you become actual friends. Throughout the time, you begin to remember a few things here and there, but never anything concrete about your past, about your sordid history, about always getting into trouble. But with these new friends, maybe things aren't as bad as they used to be. Lillian. Winding back the clock to before you left the celestial realm, to prove yourself, to hone your skills. Thinking back on this, you began to remember the past, the history you shared between your own kin. You remember of the tale that was to pass as soon as champions are selected through the court order. But it was always a stalemate. No one ever moved unless a prophecy was ever understood. You remember the court system. You remember all that nothingness they would not do. So you went out to prove yourself, not only for that reason, but to realize that, well, maybe the world needed a hero and not a simple prophecy. Looking back on this, you get a strange pang, a sensation within your body. A sensation that something is missing. Something is lost, but maybe you'll find it on the road. Maybe you'll find something on the road. You definitely know one thing. Standing still and doing nothing will not get anything done. And Star has her own backstory, which I'm not going to get into. But let's just say, she gets arrested a lot too. Still does not break that habit. Shade. Looking at the patterns in front of you, looking at your companions that were now gone, wherever they may be, you can tell that their focal points, their points that they were at one point, well, they're no longer there. The life they led no longer remains. The life you led is no longer there, and you're still being affected by this spell. You can tell that something powerful, dark in your mind and twisted in the world, is going to sleep and may never return. The events that happened will not take action. But thanks to that, maybe one lone soldier, maybe one lone corrupted man will finally get some rest. You think about Spin and what he had gone through, and then you remember you didn't care and didn't listen to him. Whatever his story was his own to tell. Maybe he had a vendetta against the gods themselves, against the world and magic. But did it matter? Did any of his events matter? No. You said, screw that. We might not be the heroes. We might not be the people that save the world. But damn, we tried as hard as we could. And no one, not even the people that literally saved the world, will ever remember that. Your cracks begin to form even deeper into your skin, into your flesh. Is there anything you try to do?
So, do I feel like the spell is still ongoing, or like its effects have taken place?
The effects are taking place, and you feel that at this point in time, the world has changed from the events that Spin had enacted his plan, but never did. So the world might likely change. Your family is likely fine, likely thriving, but the same can't be said for you.
I think, like, feeling like I've done something worth being proud of. That I would just try to land and pull out my last little vial of green growth and just pour it on the ground, because the last time I'm basically like hoping that it will make something grow, and then just sitting down.
You begin to pour the concoction on the ground. You begin to see something sprout, but as you begin to look towards it, you can tell that it is something that might not meant to be there, something that should not be there. A fracture, a time moment. Maybe it's helpful, maybe it's useful, or maybe it's the only thing that will remember your presence at that point in time. You look around yourselves, you see the world begin to change. Just maybe you won't be there to see the changes. As you relax, remember the times you spent, the times you shared with your companions. You slowly, at least consciously, maybe you'll survive, maybe you won't. But with the time change, with everything changed, you'll at least know one thing for sure. At least the world will survive. At least for the very moment. As you slowly lose consciousness. And with that, we'll go into epilogues.
Okay, now I have to ask, what was Sten's deal?
Well, I can get into that if you want, but Spin's deal was basically he saw the world change and he saw the world corrupted. At an point in time, the history got remade and we shifted, but everything kept changing. Everything kept being focused and corrupted, not only by the devils, the demons, but the gods themselves also kept changing the world, also kept making prophecies in order to fix the mistakes they made and continue to make. His storyline, or at least his heritage, his great ancestor was one of the people that helped save the world beforehand. His father's father was the one that, well, knows the story and is the one that could connect it and reshape the world. He wanted to make sure that no one could keep doing this, that not even the gods could mess up people's lives, that it would be up to them to decide. He likely had plans, strategies, things to help with all of this, but in the end, it did not matter. Because 6 plucky young adventurers, depending on your ages, I think Land's middle-aged, if I remember correctly, I think Shade is technically too, managed to save the world without being chosen. So,
Wait, so he had a plan that didn't involve killing everything on the material plane?
Yeah. Just no one went for it because it was extremely dangerous. But with that, we will go from bottom, then left, then up, then right. In that order, and Shade, I'm going to do something special for you. Maybe.
Okay.
To tell an epilogue. Lillian, without the events that happened beforehand, what do you do with your life?
Take my rightful place in the family hierarchy, probably. Prove myself. Try and get the demigoddess or goddess under my grandpa.
Interesting. What about you, Bartholomew?
I think. I mean, this is just for me, I guess, because he was based on another character I made, kind of. He would look for his long-lost father, I suppose. Just a little tidbit. Or figure out what happened to him.
You had heard of a family, high elves in the regard. the Carta Verde. They belong to an ancient tribe of Fey folk. Perhaps one of them could help you. Lan himself would, well, Lan would be Lan. He would make sure he ruled his people. Maybe not fairly, maybe not wisely, but at least making sure they survive. Star... Well, Star really never gets herself out of trouble. And Kelmore?
Is it okay if mine's a little long?
Just
Go
not
for
too
it,
long.
man.
I'll summarize it then. Basically, my character would still become an Eldritch Knight. He would still be inspired to take his mother's information and stuff. He would, of course, obviously be much happier. He believes in following his father's path. He would go out and explore the world, get as many crazy things as he can while keeping in contact with his family. And he would probably try to push. He would probably take, due to his adventures and his likes and dislikes, he would probably take another race as his bride, and someone of another race as his bride, and he would probably go out and create a town of his own while trying to create a new home and a new society for people. Well, in another location and area, and he'd probably invite his family over whenever they want to, or just to live there.
Okay.
That's it.
And Shade. What would your character have done if you managed to survive this event?
He would have rejoined the family that was taken from him and tried to live as a less urchin-like and more honorable member of a noble house meant to protect the world.
Makes sense. With the
So
world...
was there?
Was that?
So is there a way we could have done that Shade didn't die?
I'm still cleaning things up.
Okay.
With the world change and the events never taking place, people, time, well, things change, things move. While people begin to move on, different things take place as, well, those working in the shadows aren't able to halt them, aren't able to stop them or hinder them in any way. Things begin to advance a lot more quickly than beforehand. You begin to see the world change once more, and the world itself continues to rapidly live on. Whether you know it or not, one individual did manage to keep their word and their family line. Time passes, and then events take place. I would zoom in to see this part. Zoom out, sorry. Zoom in will do nothing. As two, maybe a group of adventurers begin to move around, they begin to wander the world and begin to see. Then one individual in cloak begins to move over towards something in the rubble. What is it? Oh, I think I see something in the distance. It's not someone else you're trying to help out, right? Can't exactly keep everyone safe, you know. I mean, we can try. Well, might as well see who it's at least. They might have something on them. The person begins to move forwards, and then they begin to look around. They see the rubble, and they begin to dig through it. I think I see someone. Dead or alive? I'm not sure. Alright, I'll let you have a look. You have 10 minutes before the next raid comes in. After a short time, this individual begins to see their forms. The group in front of them begins to wander and they look sad, but not in the same sense as if they know them, in the sense that they have been through a lot. While the world did change, new evils, new good also changed in turn. She looks down, the one that ran through the rubble, and she goes, I don't know if they're alive or not, but maybe I can heal them. Alright, just make sure they can actually move about. After a while, she begins to cast a spell, and she then states, It's not working. I don't know what's going on. But then the rubble moves, and then a hand appears. Oh wait, I think they're back. Oops. Wrong layer. Here we go. I think they're back. Alright, try to get them in the stretcher. Everyone else, begin to move out. We need to get back to the city. We don't exactly know when the next raid will hit, but at least we'll be safe in the next town. As they begin to move further into town, they begin to wander and question the man. The man is not really able to say anything, not really able to stand or move, just look through the horizon line. They are alive, but they are not doing well. And magic itself, well, magic itself isn't helping. As the town gets closer and closer, they see buildings, a massive expanse that it seems alien to them, something beyond from what they've seen. It outstretches from a good horizon line, buildings beyond from what they've seen, a moon cascaded in an ever pearlescent glow. And the woman, the group, move aside, move around them, and the woman then states to him, Well, I'm not sure if you can speak yet, but I'm glad you're alive. This all might be new. Don't know if you have your memories, but at least you're alive, and that's all that matters. Thankfully enough, a lot of us are able to survive. But don't worry. We're still alive, we're still kicking, and we're still making a stand. Maybe one day you can tell me your story. But for now, welcome to the big city. And we'll see you get right as rain as we go back to the boss's shop. They enter into a very large building, and inside is almost a cascading movement of electrical wires and strange contraptions. Wherever they are, this might not be home, but at least for now, this is what they can call home.
Do you know what wires are?
Probably not. But
Metal thread.
wherever they are, wherever this place is, it is familiar to them. And while the memories are lost, maybe with all the things they have done, maybe they can get the pieces back into place, solve the puzzle, and live a good life.
So wait, Shade didn't die?
Maybe.
Shade, I think, was transported to another dimension.
Maybe. But one individual did survive. As we end the session and the campaign, thanks for playing.